Good morning. You're all awake. Yay. My name is Sharon Crust, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm president of your Board of Trustees. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite everyone present in the sanctuary to join our in-person coffee hour immediately following the service. During our service, there's a time for sharing our joys and sorrows of our lives. There are cards for sharing that are at the front of the sanctuary, and just write on those and be ready for when we have that period of time. Rooted in the values of Unitarian Universalism, we covenant to be a congregation where people of all generations find meaning and purpose. We work to be a congregation that practices generosity and love by sharing our times, talents, and resources to transform lives within our congregation and in the wider world. We're so glad you're here with us today, and we hope you find the service meaningful and inspiring. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Kathy DeWeese, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm honored to be your worship associate today. A lead chalice is a symbol of our faith as Unitarian Universalists, a beacon that calls us back to ourselves and forward into the work of love and liberation. Patrick is going to help me light the chalice today. As we light our chalice in the sanctuary, I invite those on Zoom to light a chalice or a candle and to type your location in the chat. Our chalice lighting and opening words today are by the Reverend Betts Weinecke. As we gather together this morning, may we learn to recognize and affirm the pieces of possibility, the bits of good we bring. May we encourage rather than control, love rather than possess, enable rather than envy, allowing our individual gifts to weave a patchwork of peace, the soft, deep blue of sensitivity and understanding, the red energy of creativity, the white heat of convictions, the risky, fragile green of new growth, the golden flashes of gratitude, the warm rose of love. Each of us is indispensable if we are to minister to a broken and wounded world. Together in our gathered diversity, we form the whole. Let it be so.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join together in singing hymn number 389, Gathered Here. We'll be doing this as a round. Once together, the other 3 times we'll split between the 2 aisles.
Would you please now join me in saying our covenant, which is on the screen and in the order of your bulletin? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now we'll say our covenant in Spanish. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor, y ayudarnos unos a otros. Este es nuestro pacto. Please be seated. Our congregation is a lively community with many opportunities to participate. Here is one announcement for today, but please check your orders of service for more. Longtime member David Jackaway will soon be leaving us to move to Rochester, New York. I was not going to cheer up. Join us after the service today for cake, to thank David for all that he has done for UUI and to wish him well on his next adventure. In the next few weeks, these announcements will be moving to the earlier service during the welcome. More information about this change will be in the e-blast this week.
One of the ways we live our covenant with one another is through sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives together. Because when we share them and bring them before the community, it means something. It ties us to one another and to this congregation. In just a few moments, as the music plays, I invite those of you who are in the sanctuary to come forward and drop a stone into the bowl if something is on your heart today. You can use both sides of the table. And if you've written your joy or sorrow on a card, please leave it in the basket and I will read it out loud. Please note that the cards are by the entrance to the sanctuary for easy pickup when you come in. For those of you who are on Zoom, we invite you to use the chat feature. Please put in all caps either joy or sorrow plus your name and pronouns at the beginning of what you are sharing if you would like me to read it out loud in the sanctuary. If you don't want me to read it out loud, just don't put joy and sorrow in all caps and I'll know not to read it out loud. You can also symbolically drop a stone into the bowl by typing drop stone or just DS into the chat. Let us share the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another. These are the joys and sorrows that were shared today. Savvy shares the joy that her dad is turning 43 today. Jacqueline shares both a joy and a sorrow that Jacqueline is feeling sad. Lydia's school starts on Thursday, but grateful for the time that Jacqueline had with her this summer. Sandra Gruber shares two joys with us today. One, that she is grateful for working air conditioning in her car and home. And that she paid off a sizable loan earlier than expected, and glad that both she and her spouse work full-time jobs. Finn shares the joy that he made a Hot Wheels track that covered the whole house. That is impressive. Lydia shares the sorrow that her dad hurt his knee super bad. He needs a huge Band-Aid and has to walk super slow. Catherine shares the joy that Catherine has a loose tooth and she already has lost 3, so this will be her 4th tooth. Jamie shares the joy that she has a new kitten. Her name is Peyton. Jen shares the sorrow that she's been having increasingly severe pain in her lumbar spine for the past 3 weeks and is worried about it. And Linda, Par, and Suba share the sorrow. They are missing the service today because their van had to be towed yesterday. The wheel came off and possibly a broken axle. So Linda will not be able to do our special music as planned, and hopefully her car will be repaired soon. Though they may not be shared today, we know there are many more joys and sorrows that remain on our minds and in our hearts. Let us pause now for a moment of prayer and meditation as we hold all of this together. Spirit of life and love, called by many names and known by many others. This is a difficult time. As the actions of our leaders continue to cause chaos and suffering, it is good to come together in a community that puts love at the center. A community where we know that each of us is indispensable if we are to minister to a broken and wounded world. As we come together, we hold all of those suffering in our hearts, suffering for being denied the basic rights of food, healthcare, shelter, suffering with pain, suffering from injuries and heartbreak. And we know that all of life is not suffering, that there are moments of and events and times of great joy. We celebrate with those who are joyful today, celebrating birthdays and creativity, new family members. We know that life is full of both joy and sorrow, and that together in our gathered diversity, we form the whole. Blessed be, and amen.
Can we hit the yep? We can hear me. I'm not known for being very quiet, though, if we're being honest. So this is a time in our service every week where anyone of any age who would like to get a better look is welcome to come and join us at the front of the sanctuary, but it is up to you. Nice to see you guys, though. So many familiar faces this morning, and some new ones, too. That always makes me feel very lucky and happy. So, hi, everybody. Today, our service is about good news. I love good news, don't you? And I noticed there was a lot of good news this morning. I want to know about Hot Wheels tracks that go over an entire house. That is news that is relevant to my interests, and loose teeth, and even things that are not so happy, like, hurt knees, because I know that there's someone who loves that person who's taking care of them. And I can't help but notice that most of our good news, most of the time, has love at the center. Have you noticed that? Sometimes someone tells us something like they're going to a party or another fun event with people that they like or love, and then it's pretty obvious it's about love, right? But even when it's just a one-person celebration, it gets shared here because everybody here wants to share in your joy, because we care about you. Because in our hearts, we want everyone to be happy and well. And that kind of love is at the heart of the very best things that we do. So I want to share a story with you by an author named Bill McKibben called We Are Better Together. Because, that's true. And it's good news that we need right now. So, here we go. The human game is a team sport. Hi, Frankie. It took a band, a clan, a community to raise humans to adulthood. We hunted together in groups. With our complex language, we're able to keep track of one another. When we work together, we can do incredible things. We can harness the power of the sun. We can reforest the land. We can help lost sea turtles find their way back to the ocean. We can explore the farthest reaches of space. And looking back, we can see how we are changing our planet. It's a beautiful, fragile place worthy of protection. We can accept with grace that each of us has a moment and a place, that our humanness is important. We have the tools to allow us to stand up to the powerful and the reckless. We know the value of love. It's love that works to feed the hungry. It's love that comes together in defense of sea turtles and sea ice and all else around us that is good. It's love that lets each of us see we're not the most important thing on earth and makes us okay with that. It's love that welcomes us imperfect into the world. Has anybody ever done this? I may have a kid in my family that did this with Sharpie marker. It was terrifying. We live on an unbearably beautiful planet, a planet that needs us humans to play together, to cooperate. We're capable of acting together to do remarkable things. So, we'd best get started soon. It's going to make things better, not just for us, but for everybody. And Unitarianism, it's the wisdom that drives us to understand, so that when love calls us to help, we'll remember to ask people what they need. And that is some very good news. And some of us are going to be doing some things to help animals today in religious exploration, so I'm pretty excited about that. So how about we sing ourselves out and head that way?
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart go up and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
My sermon segue is bad. After that lovely story, and after seeing all the kids with the cards, with their joys, this is not the best segue. And it's perfect for today. Because, there we go, here's the segue, because there's a lot of really hard, heavy stuff out there right now, right? And in here, the world feels like it's coming at us from all directions. Headlines are stacked with climate disasters, political cruelty, systems that are so broken, it's hard to see how they'll ever be repaired, if they can be repaired. And the ongoing genocide in Palestine, in Gaza. It's exhausting and disheartening and downright soul-sapping. See, not the best segue. When that pressure builds, the reality is that most of us don't act like our best selves. Raise your hand if when the pressure is on and everything is stressful, you're in your happy place. If you're just the best you can, yeah, there's nobody, right? A friend of mine shared a metaphor with me that I just loved. She said, it's like we're jelly donuts. The more the pressure increases, the more our jelly oozes out and gets on stuff and people around us. And pretty soon, you've got a sticky, icky mess, and nobody's having a good time. Because it's not sweet like jelly is, right? So what do? How do we keep going without getting swallowed up by despair or cynicism? How do we move through the world without spreading our jelly everywhere or getting caught in someone else's? I feel like this is the theme of 2025, right? How do we get through this? And we've talked about it. We've explored concepts like mutual aid, joy, play, healthy conflict, resilience. In a few weeks, we're going to talk about self-care, real self-care, not the kind that has been packaged up and sold to us with a lavender-scented price tag. How do we get through this? And I don't know how many times I've heard or used the Mr. Rogers line, look for the helpers, focus on the good. It's good advice. And yes, it is good to look for people rushing in to fix a situation or working to right a wrong. But I want to expand the idea of helpers, because helpers are also here at work even when there isn't a crisis. Helpers are everywhere. Today, I'm thinking about the everyday stories of good news, the moments of creativity and connection and care that we human beings are able to bring to our relationships. Those rainbows that remind us that life doesn't only suck. Life is also beautiful and full of wonder. And sometimes this reminder is just what we need to keep going, to keep working to make it even better. So today, we're going to focus on good news. And beloveds, there is plenty of good news out there, like we heard in our story. So let's start at sort of the cosmic scale. As far as we can tell, there will not be an extinction level event this week. Right? In case you missed it, NASA has confirmed that the recently discovered asteroid called 2024 MK, which is swinging by Earth this week, will not be hitting us. Yay for orbital mechanics! Apparently, it's passing safely at about 3 lunar distances away, which in cosmic terms is basically like a polite nod from across the street. So if you were looking for good news on a planetary survival level, check, we're still gonna be here. Speaking of planetary survival, this spring, for the first time ever, renewable energy provided more electricity to the US power grid than fossil fuels did. Right? And in the larger world, the UN reports solar is now 41% cheaper and wind is 53% cheaper than fossil fuels, which points to a global tipping point in green energy. Right? You can clap all you want. This is the good news service. Clapping is good. And in case that's not enough, here's something that is flat out inspiring that I read this week. A Mexican chemical engineer named Sandra Pasco Ortez has invented a way to turn nopal cactus juice into a kind of plastic. It's biodegradable, non-toxic, and even edible, and get this, it breaks down in soil in 2 to 3 months or just a few days in water. And only mature pads of the cactus are harvested, meaning that the cactus continues to grow. So we're looking at the possibility of packaging made from renewable material that disappears like a fallen leaf without petroleum or toxins or trash piling up in the oceans. This isn't just hopeful, this is revolutionary science, which is good news, right? In non-climate related news, a team at Johns Hopkins recently discovered a new way to target an enzyme that can suppress tumor growth. In lab tests, this method slowed melanoma and colorectal cancer growth by up to 77%, offering promising new hope for hard-to-treat cancers. In non-scientific news, here in Indiana, more than 30 protests were organized for the No King's Day in June. Here in Indiana, more than 30 protests were organized. Right? Thousands of you Hoosiers showed up. You marched and sang and held signs and stood together not just to protest, but to practice free speech and public accountability. It was a powerful reminder that even in challenging times, people are still showing up for democracy, still believing that your voices matter, and still refusing to be silent in the face of authoritarianism. And there's good news closer to home, too. Indianapolis is set to make a significant leap forward in its response to houselessness, with the creation of a low-barrier housing hub scheduled to break ground by the end of this year. This welcoming facilities will allow individuals and families to enter without the common restrictions such as sobriety requirements and curfews, which will help to keep parents and families and children together. And just around the corner, Holcomb Gardens has reopened Butler University at Butler University, and they are planting native plants last fall and have already discovered a beehive that they are putting up protections so that they can ensure the hive's survival. Here at UUI, in actions of collective hope and visioning, the Ministerial Search Committee is off and running, listening deeply, gathering input, and beginning the exciting work of helping this congregation discern who your next minister might be. That's good news. And finally, I'll add a bit of good news from my own life, personal life. A few weeks ago, I got to travel to Mexico with a group of UU women for a Spanish language and cultural immersion trip. It was eye-opening and humbling and full of unexpected moments of connection and learning. I came back with better Spanish, deeper relationships, and a renewed appreciation for how much we still have to learn and how beautiful it is when we can engage in learning together. All right, that's enough of my good news. You like how it went from like planetary down? All right, there's modeling going on there. So now it's your turn. What do you know that is good news, whether on a personal, communal, national, global, or cosmic scale? Did you read about something that made you feel good and hopeful? Did you hear something that made you feel good? Or maybe you did something in your own life. Maybe you finished a puzzle and that made you feel good. Or maybe you just didn't yell at your children this week, and that's a success, right? Whatever it is, I invite you to share your good news. There's a microphone here on the floor. For those of you who are on Zoom, I invite you to type your good news into the chat, and I will read it out loud. And let's make sure to celebrate with a round of applause after every bit of good news is shared so that people know that their good news is heard. All right, let me go over here. I know being the first one is often very difficult, but there we go. Thank you, Diane.
My good news is that I spent the last 10 days going to Colorado and coming back with my son and my granddaughters. My son is an obsessive birder. As a result, on eBird, which is kind of where people report these things, he was 31st for the month out of 54,000. We spent a lot of time looking at birds. But I will tell you, scissor-tail flycatchers and burrowing owls are really neat. So that's my good news for the day.
Go ahead and come on up, and if there are a lot of people, we can just form a line right here by the piano. While people are coming up, I'll share one from Breyer online. Breyer shares that every single book that Breyer has requested from the Hamilton East Public Library that they buy about trans and non-binary topics, they have bought, and it's really awesome. The librarians resist.
I have sunflowers growing in my backyard, and I've taken pictures of them almost every day that I've recognized that they were there. If you have any desire to review the pictures I've taken, find me after service.
I wish I could remember which country. I think it was Norway, it might have been the Netherlands. One of those countries has figured out a way to build an AI data center
No, that's,
on the water.
you've got your
on
microphone
the
on.
ocean, using the wave action to provide power so that it's not taking any electricity away. And what was the other thing about it? Oh, right, the ocean actually serves as a coolant so that they don't have to use any power for that either. And that is something that we know is really important because those data centers take a huge amount of electricity.
Thank you, Colin.
I just wanted to let everybody know that the backpacks and the school supplies that you all donated, we gave out yesterday for several hundred kids, and the kids love them. And each child had to have a parent or a guardian or an adult with them. And so they were just so excited to be able to pick out a backpack that had either a dragon on it, or it was pink, or it was purple, and they were not consistently all yellow, all black, all blue. They loved them, so thank you again.
I and a neighbor rescued a caterpillar and carried him safely over to the grass, where I hope he'll turn into something. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. I just completed 6 months of working at Beef and Board 6 to 7 days a week and half days here, half Sundays here, and I'm pleased to tell you that I'm finished. And after, I'm going to have a few weeks of vacation, and then I will be back here for services, for full services until Christmas time.
We almost killed all of the bald eagles, but then we saved them, and they're like everywhere now, and I think that's really cool. I was in Broad Ripple the other day, and one just like flew over, and like every time I drive near the river, you can see bald eagles now, and I think it's really neat.
Yesterday, I celebrated 43 years of friendship with a dear friend that I met during American Study Travel Abroad in Mexico. We do an annual phone call. He calls me to share laughter, memories, and other things, and I actually found some original photos I had taken back then and shared it with him with email, and we had a delightful talk. And so friendship of long time is definitely good news. So, yeah.
This is going to sound like a personal advertisement, but Indiana State Fair starts this Friday, and I've been volunteering there since 2001, and it is like the high point of my life in the middle of summer that I get to tell folks about what pioneer life is like. I get to illustrate hand tools. I get to put a hand tool in someone's hand for the first time. There's nothing like that, to see the light in their face when they realize they can use a tool.
Okay, so there are a lot of educators in this space, so this is especially for you. 20 years ago, I taught 6th grade in Casablanca, Morocco, at the American school there, and I learned that one of my 6th grade students went on to do great things, and she, I learned, is one of the attorneys for Mahmoud Khalil. So that was pretty amazing, and I just discovered that by accident because she friended me on Facebook, so that's really cool. And one other bit of good news related to immigration, people in Chicago are reporting that efforts to let people know, or make sure people know their rights, are actually foiling efforts by ICE. So all of the efforts to take those red cards and translate them into many, many languages, it's actually working, so keep it up.
Online, Jen shares that Jen has an amazingly beautiful view of a lake framed by 2 trees over Jen's balcony through their living room sliding glass door. Jen gets a lot of sunlight through that door in the evenings too. The view and the sunlight, Jen says, brings me lots of joy, and so does my cat, who likes to watch the many birds through the large glass door. Great. Anyone else who's on the fence? See, I knew there'd be at least one person. It's when your desire to share something overwhelms or comes over, what's the word? Overcomes desire to not say anything. Thank you.
I am a somewhat novice gardener. I've been planting a garden for about 7 or 8 years, and I'm really happy that I defeated the squash bindvore infestation in my zucchini, and I didn't have to pull any of my zucchini this year, which, if you've ever grown squash, is a big deal. But I also planted this year, last year, it's the first year that it's really been kind of blooming, a pollinator garden, and the bees are everywhere. It is wonderful to see. And I read recently that urban gardeners are doing a lot for the local ecosystem. So if you also have, a garden, no matter how small, you are really doing a lot to help the environment. And the bees are our friends. My son is not scared of them, which is a big deal. And it's just really cool to see them buzzing around and doing their thing.
I don't really need a microphone, but just in case. Oh, yes. So those of you who didn't already know, because I was told this was announced, but the rummage sale made over $3,700. So thank you all so much for your help and coming.
It's more of a personal parenting one. Kira and I went on a college tour on Friday of Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology in Terre Haute, and we just both really loved the school, loved everything about it, loved the tour, loved our tour guide, Tommy, he was great. And I just really enjoying this phase of life where we're looking to the future and just, I don't know, I just really like it. I'm looking forward to more college tours and finding places that she loves.
I think we get blessings from a lot of people, and at our bed and breakfast about a week or so ago, I had a guest send me a book as a thank you for staying at our house, and the name of the book is Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. And this book is about health span and health wellness. And it's, being able to be a centenarian, which is a goal of mine, or that. So I completed the book this week, and it was really a blessing. Both my parents died fairly young, really, 38 and 52. So you realize you do have a lot more control over your health than you think you do, and genes aren't everything. So I want to share that with you because that might be beneficial to someone else. Thank you.
Here are some easy options for getting that feel-good feeling. Pick up 2 pieces of trash every time you walk out the door and donate blood.
Thank you.
This is about my garden. I also have a large pollinator garden, and this year I have finally seen 7 monarch butterflies, 3 black swallowtails. The native bees are all over everything, and I was beginning to get worried. So now I have hope that there are more left to come. So plant pollinator plants. Thank you.
And online, Joni shares, the death of a friend caused the virtual reunion of a group of dear friends from college. I was reunited with a best friend from college that I'd lost touch with while my wife was sick and dying. Blessings through grief. Mm-hmm. Going once. Going twice. All right. But thank you. Thank you, all of you. Finding and naming good news is one of the ways that we spiritually resist despair. It reminds us that we're not powerless and that our story is not yet finished. Even when things feel really bad, they aren't all bad. We Unitarian Universalists are people who believe in possibility, in love, in community, in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and in the beauty of this world. These stories of these helpers, of our gardens, of our relationships, of our victories, these breakthroughs, these tiny joys remind us what we are fighting for, working for. So yes, let's keep finding the good news. Let's keep naming it, and let's keep being it for each other. After the service, I'll post some links to good news resources in the UUI Slack, and I invite you to share your good news on any scale in the Acts of Resistance channel on the Slack. Because not being captured by a single story, the story that everything is terrible, not being captured by that is part of the resistance. And that Slack channel might be a great place to revisit on days when you need a little reminder of the beauty and goodness that is possible. Because even now, there are signs of beauty, there are glimpses of wonder, and sometimes, if we're paying attention, we just might catch a rainbow. May it be so. May we make it so together.
dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star.
Maybe it's a picture of the artist.
Clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, oh why can't I? Oh, someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I?
Our Social Justice Committee. July Share the Plate is the Indianapolis Urban League. The mission of the Indianapolis Urban League is to empower African Americans and disadvantaged individuals to achieve social and economic equality. They promote improved quality of living through essential services in education, workforce development, entrepreneurship, health, and housing. You can give on your smartphone by texting the dollar amount you want to give and the word share to a phone number which is in this chat and in your bulletin. You can also give on our website at uui.org. The offering will now be greatly received. May it be joyfully given. Thank you for your generosity. Our closing words today are by the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. As we leave this hallowed place, may our feet remember its feel, so that wherever we walk, we know ourselves to be on hallowed ground. May we know that we are kin with every soul, every star, every stone and leaf of grass. And may our words be gentle and our touch be kind. Blessed be.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join together in singing hymn number 16. 'Tis a gift to be simple.
Please join me now in our chalice extinguishing words on the screen and printed in your order of service. Now we extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us keep those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.